In this video, I'll address 5 things that you probably don't know about Fisker and the Ocean SUV. I'll also go through all your comments and emails that I've been sent at adamsevreviews@yahoo.com. So, if that sounds fun, subscribe down below, smash that like button, and let's get into it. And let's start the show with thing 1. NHTSA. There are 20-some complaints on the NHTSA website as of the making of this video, which have led NHTSA to open an investigation. If you want an overview of how that all went down and how it affects you, before we jump in, I've got a video in the description. Let's just take a look at them. Passenger door failed to unlock. Lock unlock, cycle attempted, service request submitted. When driving the car for approximately 5 minutes at 55 miles per hour, car lost all power. Car doesn't stop someone when pressing the brake. Emergency brake failure warning. Battery died, car completely dead. Passenger front door would not open from the inside. Lock unlock cycle resolved the problem. The rollback issue, brakes are not reliable, they feel spongy, unpredictable acceleration, no cruise control, no resolution. Momentarily brakes inoperable, aggressive application needed, blind spot warning false positives, resistive steering, braking does not work as designed, ADAS functions unavailable in inclement weather, tire sealant leakage, auto emergency braking lane keep system warning. Fisker told me the problem cannot be corrected via a software update. Refusal to send technician. Unexpected engagement of the parking brake, could not disengage the parking brake. Smoke pouring out of the braking system. I'm no longer driving the vehicle. Software problems. No rollaway prevention. Fisker needs to be more proactive in addressing its vehicles. And I think this statement at the end is probably my favorite. It is a good vehicle with crappy software, if there ever was a nutshell. Random brake malfunctioning alerts, no response from the company. Key fob battery, app glitches. The vehicle drives forward when you put it in reverse. ADAS features not working. This car should not have been allowed on the road. The vehicle does not hold any degree of incline. Drifts backwards. Reproducible at all times. ADAS warning, front collision fault. The drive to neutral concern. Car rolled away after parking. Loses regen over bumpy roads. Manual brakes don't function. Response is delayed. False collision and automatically brakes itself. Software update did not solve the problem. Strong burning plastic smell. Multiple contacts. No response. The hood of the car suddenly flew up, blocking our view at 55 miles an hour. Damage to the hood, the windshield, front fenders, and the brackets. No warning lights prior to the event. Hood flipped open, completely obstructed my view. Popped off the rearview mirror. Hood is bent, causing body damage. Full view obstructed. Alerts and warnings about the hood not being secured. This one is from an accident. Braking issues. Vibration in the brake pedal, ABS not engaging, car is simply not safe, insurance claim shows injury. If I'm on a hill, either foot off the accelerator or foot on the brake pedal and actively pushing the brake disengages and the car lurches forward. Happens often, brake rattling noise coming from the brake pedal when coming to a full stop. Brake pedal shuddered at 40 miles an hour while trying to brake, regenerative braking offline message. Shortly after an over-the-air update. 500 miles on vehicle, no assistance from Fisker. Driver's door failed to open from the inside, blind spot and lane assist failed to function periodically. Brake disengages, car lurches forward while trying to brake. Have not heard back from Fisker. Vehicle is not drivable, no service center, regen cut out, safety features stop working in the middle of the drive, lane keep assist stops functioning, airbag fault. Escalated the issue, it slides slipping when you apply the brake. I've tried for almost 6 weeks, calling them to fix my issue. There should be a recall on these vehicles as soon as possible. Bumps on the road while braking and is safety issue. Fisker is not warning people of this. So are these specific issues going to get Fisker Oceans recalled? We don't know yet, but what I do know is the investigation is going to find out that Fisker has been delivering vehicles that are grossly incomplete from a software standpoint. And I hope you're ready for speculation time. If this doesn't result in a stop sale from Fisker, it will result in action from NHTSA, which will negatively affect Fisker's stock and future way worse than any action Fisker itself could take. It's also a great segue to thing 2. Fisker is at risk of delisting. 6 consecutive months of trading under $1, and they'll be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. I doubt that'll have a good effect on the value either. So if you didn't know, for thing 3, I can just start with one of your comments. What about Wi-Fi not being enabled, but some Fisker Ocean 1s working sporadically? Update 1.11 Part 2 enables Wi-Fi for those who already have an Ocean. Based on other comments I've seen, Oceans being delivered currently already have this software, even if only Part 1 is being indicated as being installed. Brian went through all the 1.11 Part 2 changes in a recent video. You can check it out in the description. In my last video, a Fisker Ocean and Model Y deep dive, and I know you may not care about the Model Y, but if you missed it, you missed a literal ton of Fisker information as well. One tidbit being, I shared a post from the official Fisker Facebook group about software. Here's that clip. This is a message from Fisker to Fisker Ocean owners in a private VIN-verified Facebook group. Thanks for the feedback. Our goal is to have everyone in Group 1 or Group 2 at all times. We're working hard to make that happen. It should appear straightforward if you're in Group 1, but if you're unsure about being in Group 2, 3, or 4, you're more than welcome to send us a PM. And here's those groups. Group 1, you are already on software version 1.10, and we are updating you to 1.11 as we speak. Once fully updated to 1.11, your car will show the correct release notes. Group 2, you're already on software 1.10, but we have not started updates for your car yet. Your software version may have been manually confirmed by an employee. If you're unsure, please PM us. Group 3, you're not quite up to date, but your Fisker Ocean is capable and you're on the way there. You're seeing a version lower than 1.10 in your user interface. You should be updated very soon. And Group 4, a small group of Fisker Ocean 1 owners are on older versions not compatible with the new software since the vehicle was delivered. This situation is not exclusive to a single market and impacts a group of owners worldwide. We are aware that some of you are having uncomfortable experiences and we're working through the steps to get your vehicle scheduled with our service centers. All the best from the Fisker team. The silver lining here is that the direct message via Facebook may be the best way to contact Fisker if you have a problem. They seem to be very responsive and get back to you very quickly, probably because it affects their metrics on Facebook. What group are you in? Did you get the 1.11 part 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thing 4 involves car registration and how weird and unsuccessful it's been with some Fisker owners. And once again, I've got a really good example in a comment. I didn't quite get your issue around registration. I am being asked to sign an authorization letter authorizing Fisker and its agent to lawfully provide all the vehicle titling documents to obtain the registration. I thought this is normal practice, is it not? Direct sales are banned in my state. From what I know, it is my responsibility to register the vehicle, and even if I give Fisker the right to do all that for me, and that's allowed, my concern is the registration itself. If I can do it, then I know it will be done. Let me give you an example. Adam, my temporary registration that Fisker provided on my Ocean 1 recently expired. I went to the DMV today, fully knowing it was expired, to see what they needed for my registration in my state. They said I would need a title along with proof of purchase and other registration forms. Since the vehicle is now a brick sitting in my garage, they also suggested that I call Fisker to get an extended registration to make it street legal again. Given that I paid in full, I should be in possession of a title, but I still haven't received it. I called Fisker for weeks to try to get an answer as to the status of my title, as well as today to get an extension on my registration. Customer support consistently pushes it up to the next level, and that's where things hit a dead end. I never hear back from anyone. To give a little context, the vehicle was dropped off without me ever signing paperwork, and of course my vehicle admin went dark on me long before that. After dozens of calls, I finally got the online forms via Adobe Acrobat Sign and submitted those. However, I have no idea if that's been processed or what that status is. I'm not sure if you have any tips, or maybe this is just a heads up for you as a potential buyer or your YouTube channel viewers. A quick update on my registration, which had expired. I reached out to Title Reg Department at fiskerinc.com and received an updated registration via FedEx today. It's good for another 3 months. There's a process where things are being filtered through Arizona to many, if not all owners nationwide. Dealing with one state's DMV is tough, but now having to wait for the two to communicate in order to get a title sounds like it could cause delays. One more update. After submitting all the forms on Adobe Acrobat Sign months ago, I received a FedEx packet that included hard copies of all the same forms plus a bill of sale. Apparently, none of the Adobe e-signatures are valid in my state's DMV. They instead require a wet signature, which will push the receipt of my title and registration off until new hard copies are processed. Not the end of the world, just another thing I wish Fisker had thought through. So my concern is not that my vehicle won't be registered or that Fisker isn't allowed to register my vehicle as much as it is Fisker could make an error in registering my vehicle that would cause the registration itself to take a very long time. And if you've ever had to deal with the transfer of a vehicle and any other complex variable with your state's DMV, I hope you can understand my apprehension. Thank you very much for your comment. And thing 5 started from another one of your comments. I've been following your channel for 2 months and learned a lot about development. Any way to go over the features in the app, both now and upcoming. This is what you can do currently. It shows your state of charge and your miles of range. You can lock and unlock as well as utilize California mode and open the rear lift gate. You can locate your vehicle via Find My Fisker. You can route plan and send your route to the vehicle, access service and support as well as the owner's manual, shop Fisker accessories, and view your configuration details and owner's documents. And Brian has a shareable, more detailed version of this on his EVOG channel. You definitely want to go check that out. So those are your 5 things. And remember, I answer every comment on this channel. And if you think that's valuable, you can support me on Patreon or join me as a YouTube member. And yes, I don't have any YouTube members yet. But once I do, you'll get early access to upcoming videos. Either way, let's get to your comments. Did you hear anything about a worsening relationship between Magna and Fisker? No. We got screwed by not getting the promotional interest rate. Many folks are upset about this because they got the vehicle right before the promotion went into effect. Through January 10th, it was 1.99 for really good credit, and most of the people who would potentially borrow to buy a new vehicle would qualify for at least some of this promotional financing, so I totally understand the frustration. Idiot question time. I just found a free Rivian charging station by my house. Will I be able to use this with my Fisker? If it's a level 2, maybe, but the Rivian Adventure Network is exclusive to Rivians. In fact, it just went paid. It was exclusive and free. Great question. Bro, stop hating on Fisker. You're acting like you're being honest, but it's clear your opinion is bias. If you have any evidence that the things that I say on my channel are blatantly wrong, and I don't mean corrections, because I have a correction right now. I just released a short and I put this information in my Model Y Fisker comparison video. In order to add a waypoint, you have to select the genre of what you're looking for, then scroll to it in the order of distance from you before you can add it to your trip. And after you sleep on it and process it, you'll realize this is a pretty useful tool, but in the moment, you just want to type it in, and you can't. The navigation screen, once you get the most recent Fisker update, does allow you to search for a waypoint, but at the time, on the software I was using, in the ocean I was in, you couldn't. Another correction is that there are 4 unique things about the ocean. I said limo mode was one of them. It's actually the 360-mile range. So 2 corrections there. If you think I'm being biased, I assure you I'm not, and check the comments section. A lot of my viewers agree, but I appreciate your feedback. The purchase process was both strange and ridiculous. They wouldn't let me see the car until I bought it. I talked to 7 different people in the 2 days before I got my car, and most of them didn't know someone else had contacted me. That said, the car's really nice. If Tesla is a Honda, Fisker feels like an Acura, albeit one that has incomplete software.
It is a good vehicle with crappy software.
The only thing I disliked was the color is a little more blue than silver. Thanks so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it.
Crappy software.
I'm still learning about the EV options. Question, would definitely consider a used EV, but what about battery replacement once that goes bad? I heard replacing the battery is crazy expensive. Great question. It's the big if. Will the battery go bad or will it maintain? There's an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on every battery, even if you change ownership. So if you're an early adopter looking to avoid the early adopter penalty, 100,000 miles is when you'd want to dump your current car, and the 100,000 mile threshold is going to be the prime consideration when purchasing a used EV. And I myself don't intend on owning any EVs outside of the battery warranty. However, a good deal is a good deal. Many of us like to buy a car at 100,000 miles because usually they're pretty well depreciated, but they still have some good life left in them. But because of battery warranties, that's kind of an antiquated strategy. And we haven't really figured the used market out yet. But a used EV being out of the battery warranty should make it less expensive. And if it doesn't, you should probably consider something with fewer miles. Does that mean dead EV batteries are useless? Absolutely not. They're made up of way too many individual cells that are probably healthy. And maybe I shouldn't speculate or go off the rails, but let's think about battery replacement. If you buy an EV, you own the battery. It's very clear you own the battery because certain companies will lease you a battery where they own the battery. So if you own the battery and your battery has to be replaced, and that battery replacement is $20,000, how much is the battery that you already paid for worth? And why don't you get to keep it? I don't have an answer, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just thought I'd tickle some brain cells. If you want to know more about the Fisker Ocean battery and battery chemistry, I made a whole video. You can check it out in the description. So what's the ideal used EV? The car meets your practical needs, has an affordable price, and 3 years of your typical driving mileage to go before 100,000 or the warranty runs out, depending on the vehicle, is under $25,000, so you can take advantage of the 2024 used EV tax credit, and is sold by a dealership authorized to report the information to the IRS, allowing you to take advantage of the EV tax credit. Does that car exist yet? Maybe not this minute, but Tesla just released a brand new Model 3, and think about how many Model 3 owners want to upgrade, like right now. A lot of their previous cars cars will be heading to used lots. Also, Hertz has sold some of their Model 3 inventory, and those qualify for the tax credit if they're under $25,000. Just saying. I'm looking for a 2019 e-tron with all the stuff. A depreciated e-tron is really compelling. If you can find one for under $25K, it makes it even better because of the tax credit. But regarding the tax credit, I'm looking at if my trade-in would drop the price into tax credit territory. The trade-in actually doesn't count against your tax credit price. Here's the website. To qualify, a vehicle must meet all of these requirements. Sale price of $25,000 or less. And by sale price, it literally means the sale. Taxes, title, and registration fees not included. It has to be 2 years older than the calendar year that you're buying it in, and it's a 1 credit per car deal, not have already been transferred to a qualified buyer. It needs a gross vehicle weight less than 14,000 pounds, which is just passenger car category, be an eligible fuel cell or plug-in vehicle of at least 7 kilowatt hours, and it's for use in the United States. So if you have a trade, it will obviously reduce the total that you owe, but it will not reduce the sale price. Great discussion. Sorry, I could never own a Tesla. They are just so ugly looking. I don't understand why EVs need to be so ugly, but the Ocean was and still is the only EV that I contemplated getting for my wife. But with the delays, we went with an Explorer for now. Maybe once they get solid-state batteries figured out, I can switch over. I wouldn't wait for the next battery technology because it's always just one innovation away. If you want to make the leap, just get in. But I understand your frustration. As far as batteries, they're not going to get any bigger than they are right now because we can't put 150 plus kilowatt hours into everything with 4 wheels and expect to transition to electric. We are way better off putting 150 kilowatt charging at every gas station. We need faster and more abundant charging, not bigger capacity. In fact, we need smaller capacity to make the transition in a shorter period of time. The reason ICE vehicle drivers don't have range anxiety like EV drivers do is because there's a place to refuel within a couple miles no matter where you are on Earth. And all gas stations are the same speed. And on the topic of solid-state batteries, they still have to charge. For example, the Cybertruck may support 1 megawatt charging, but we don't know yet because the charging network wasn't designed to support it. There are currently no version 4 superchargers available to the public. They may have different appearance and different cables, but those cabinets that pull the power are still the same. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fisker Ocean is the longest range SUV that ever gets built. With battery swaps, inductive charging, and changes in chemistry, we're all moving towards less capacity and faster charging. Also, that 350 miles in the cold, 10 minutes of charging solid-state battery is going to cost $100,000 for at least the first few years of production. Also, currently, a fast charge in a fast charging EV at a fast charging station for 40 minutes gets you somewhere between 150 and 250 miles of range. So on a regular trip, 40 minutes of charging plus about a 300-mile range gets you closer to 500 miles. I am just like you. I fell in love with the Fisker Ocean looks, then the spec, then the price. Customer service and the Hendrik Fisker spin put me right off. Let's address that. The Hendrik Fisker spin is probably my least favorite part about Fisker also. I don't think modern companies consider the value of transparency. When a problem comes up, transparency allows you, your stakeholders, and your customers to prepare for it. If you always provide the truth, when it is discovered unknowingly, how much less damage?
Many orders, magnitude fewer.
That's about right. And the damage sounds like this.
Emotional damage.
For example, instead of Fisker saying that the NHTSA concerns are no big deal and a software update will be able to fix it all, they're releasing a more luxurious version of the Ocean Extreme. Do you know if the EPA has accepted the Ultra? I'm nearing delivery within a couple weeks, but that has me concerned. Here's what it says on the EPA website. 2023 Ocean Extreme 1. I dug all the way around. That's all there is. If anyone has a Moroni sticker from their Ultra, please feel free to send it to adamsevreviews@yahoo.com, and thanks in advance. Your videos are incredibly valuable. You have helped me make a decision not to get a Fisker, at least for now. Given my next car will be my only car to start and my everyday car, I don't think Fisker is ready yet. I'm debating other electric vehicles or buying a used car. I love the Rivian R1T. It would probably be out of my price range today, maybe in a few years. I'd love your take on that vehicle. The R1T is innovative, beautiful, has huge amounts of storage, and if you're looking for an electric truck, it is definitely a great option. Is there any way you can make a video or give your opinion on the multiple awards won for the Ocean in Europe? Are they real awards? I'm sure they're real awards. Let's look into it. All these awards are for design. This is an honorable mention. Totally funny that CarWow has still not done a review on that. And these awards started in 2018. This is what their website looks like. You can be the judge as to how reputable that award is, but design awards, I feel like, yeah, those are legit. Any issues I've had with my Ocean have been expected and seem to be typical for the first couple thousand. Once they get the software bugs out, it will be great.
Crappy software.
Even though service isn't speedy, when you can get service, it's great. I love the ride, the power, the stereo. Overall feels made well. I will be having my air vent system replaced and a panel under the vehicle. In the end, I love it and get tons of compliments and know the issues will be fixed and the car will only get better. Thanks so much for sharing. I still hate my Fisker Ocean 1 after 11 weeks. They are trying on the service side, but the car is broken. Luckily, I'm in California and was able to take it to Huntington Beach for service. However, I just got a note saying my issues are software related and they do not have an ETA on when the update will be able to fix it. At this point, I will ask them to buy the car back. And these are the issues he was having. 12-volt battery died after 3 weeks. Took 9 days for Fisker to respond. In that same call, they replaced the seat sensor, which had been causing the gear shifter not to recognize that someone was in the vehicle. I'm up to 4 key fob batteries. ADAS module has not worked consistently. Every other drive, I have one of the following functions either not available or not functioning. ADAS automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, front camera, front collision avoidance, daytime running lights. By the way, all of those are over-the-air updates and don't exist yet. So the car thinks they should be there and they're not. Regen braking or some other lane change error. 90% of the time, the errors appear the moment I start the car. Main battery loses between 2 and 3% overnight. This seems to be the norm. If you guys are having any different experiences, let me know in the comments. I'm seeing others who are losing more than 5. My I-Pace never lost any charge overnight. I would never buy a Tesla and still tell everyone I know to stay away from this car. I can't thank you enough for sharing your experience. And for fun, here's an I-Pace I found on the internet this week. Your gut says it all, don't buy. Fisker may not be around in 2 years, and you could have bought an expensive brick. Wait 2 years and see where they're at. Tesla almost bankrupted multiple times in early years. 90% of the features you are upset about missing wouldn't have been invented if people didn't stick with Tesla early on. I think Fisker has shown us the willingness and ingenuity to bring new innovations to automobiles just as Tesla did. If everyone expects a startup to be better than the industry leader within the first year of production, we'll never see new innovation. Great points. Are you still planning to take delivery of the Sport now that the stock is trading at 80 cents? I haven't heard anything since my phone call, still waiting, so I'm still on the ride for now. Speaking of sports, when do you think they'll start shipping? They're on ships now. It's just they're not legal for sale yet. What about independent franchising? I don't see any of that happening until this NHTSA thing is over. And even when it is, it'll probably go to legacy dealerships, probably big chains too. But one can dream. It's clear which stock you own, but you don't post your holdings. I'm happy to post my holdings. Here they are. And finally, regarding the NHTSA inquiry, it's not brake related. It's the cutting out of regeneration, which feels like brake failure. The one crash was someone who was following too close. Crash aside, when people go over bumps, the brake pedal doesn't respond. So yes, it is a braking issue. And yes, I have independently verified this with individual owners. It is brake related. The regen also fails intermittently, but remember, it's the inquiry that's the problem because of this and this and this and more.
Crappy software.
Fisker may make you buy a package to get extra safety features. All 4 OTA packages, Intelligent Pilot, Performance, Winner, and Ultimate packages into an all-in-one download to get the maximum safety, convenience, performance, and fun out of your Fisker Ocean Sport or Ultra. Notice Fisker leaves safety out of the base model. But safety's kind of NHTSA's thing. I know we had a lot of information to get through, so I really appreciate you sticking around with me till the end. Check out my comparison with the Model Y, super in-depth. Definitely worth a watch right here. Also learn how to drive the Fisker Ocean over here at that link, and the Fisker customer experience. I did a whole video and a deep dive on that, and it'll be right there. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey, smash the like button.
Thank you.